supposedly buried in a Mayan temple. It could easily have been lost.
That's where she apparently found it.
That's
right?
where she apparently found it, exactly. But let's just keep in mind that quartz chips are how we run computers. They hold incredible amounts of knowledge, and if you had that whole head full of stuff, it just boggles. It's a universe of knowledge in this one skull.
There have always been rumors, though, that the father, that F.A., Mitchell-Hedges, that he found this, but he couldn't tell anybody how he did it because it was so strange and unusual.
I've heard that too. That's one of the things that they talked about there, and that is possible. You just don't know, because they came out with the story that she did it and they stuck with it. There is that rumor, but he's gone, she's gone. They took it to their graves. I don't know who else would know. Maybe there is somebody out there that knows the truth, and they might come forward with it. But at this point, I don't know how we're ever going to prove that.
What if the skull was like a projector, and somehow if you could get it turned on, it could show you and reveal maybe some of the secrets of the universe? Wouldn't that be something? So maybe there is information in it like a computer chip, but that through the eyes, it kind of like shows you a hologram or something.
This was not mentioned, George. I like this idea.
That's my theory.
I like that idea. That's another one. It could be. And that's a great way to. I mean, the idea of the chip was mentioned. This was not. It's the first I've heard of it, but I think it's a great idea and a great possibility.
Let's talk more about your hominoid research for the rest of this hour, if we can, Lloyd, and then we'll take phone calls with you next hour as well. Okay. You've still been working on, when I first met you on the radio,
right,
back in
you were in St. Louis.
Yep, doing my local show.
Yeah, you had that great bumper music. I want everybody to know he had the great bumper music even then. I used to rave about it even then.
Everything You Know Is Wrong. I remember the title of that, and I went searching for you. I had heard you on with Art, and I said, what a great title for a book. Everything You Know Is Wrong. It was about how what's up is down and what's down is up, and you've never stopped since.
Right. Well, that book put me on the map, and it's been very good to me over the years. I have to say that, and a lot of people, like 30,000 people, have bought that book, so it's done very well. But we let it go out of print last year because I knew I was going to be revising it sometime this year, and I'm about 1/3 of the way through that revision. But with 10 years of new work to catch up and incorporate in, there is an awful lot, and now that I've had this delay with the documentary deal beginning to shape up and form, I'm going to be even more delayed. I don't think that the revision is going to come out until 2010 probably now. But I want everybody to know that I'm working really hard on it. I apologize for letting it go out of print because I've got an awful lot of people mad at me over that.
We will know in January if Sci-Fi wants to pick up our television program as a regular series. If they do, would you be willing to come on with the Crystal Skull and the group and come on and do a show with us on that?
Well, I could. I can't do it with the Starchild because that's going to be exclusive to the documentary that's being done. That's part of the deal why they're putting up so much money. I mean, they're putting up,
What if we do it to promote? What if we promote the documentary for you?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to talk to them. I can put you in touch with Matt Richards. He's the producer, and see how what they're willing to do. But I know that he's going to have to work through the production company. I mean, through the channel in England. I'm not supposed to say which channel it is, and I'm not supposed to say which company it is here in the States that have partnered with them on it. But they're big, trust me.
They're get them in touch with us at least.
Yeah, but if that's something that you guys want to do, I'd have absolutely no problem with it. And also, too, remember, I can do anything relative to my human origins work, relative to hominoids work, but it may be that the Starchild is off the table until this documentary is shown.
What do you think of Michael Cremo's work?
Love Michael Cremo's work.
You two are very similar.
what a great guy. He's just one of my best friends in the whole field, and every time we're together at conferences, we spend some time together, and he's just a terrific guy. And it's funny because we really have some basic disagreements about humans. You know, he says that we go back for millions of years, which is, you know, the basis of belief that from which he operates. But and I believe that our genetics say pretty clearly that we're only 200,000 years old max, and that we, as we are about 40,000-50,000 years old. But
you believe we were altered? We were
I think we
created.
were genetically engineered,
yeah.
and recently. I think we're a very recent addition to the planet. I think that our genes make that clear. And I think that the genetic engineering that we have, especially our second and third chromosome, you know, the main argument there is that all higher primates have 48 chromosomes, 24 from the mother, 24 from the father. Humans alone among the higher primates have 46. Now, that's a huge loss of chromosome. And, you know, chromosomal material, genes, all of that.
We're up on the pecking order, but we've got less. Huh?
Exactly. So how could that be? Well, the truth of it is we still have them. We still have all 48 of them, but our second and third, what would be second or third if we were a primate, have been stuck end to end together to take up only one space, meaning that something wanted to have sex with us and reproduce with us, but they only had 46. So they had to find a way to let us keep our full genetic components so we would be what we are, primate, but be able to have sex and reproduce with them. So they fused our second and third chromosome to go along with that program, and that can only be done in a lab. And I mean, it's just clear as a bell. Anybody who looks at our genetic array can see that there's just, you know, you will hear arguments from science that, well, nature does that because it's done it in more than human beings. It's done it in other animals and plants. Well, yeah, but all of those are domesticated animals and plants, and really that's all we are, is a domesticated animal. For whoever created the domesticated animals and plants, they created us too, and I think that that's one of the hallmarks. But we also have 9 other chromosomal, what are called flips. Parts of our chromosomes relative to chimps and gorillas have been just flipped end on end, just taken out, turned over, and put back in for whatever reason, and that's what makes us us. So, you know, the evidence for genetic manipulation is just blindingly clear to anybody that wants to open their eyes and see it.
Now, does a fish have the same amount of chromosomes as we do?
No, everything has different amounts.
Different amounts, right?
Different amounts, yeah. And plants can have outrageous numbers. They can have layers of chromosomes. It's all very different, but as far as we're just within the primates, the things that are closest to us, the things that we're most like, that's the 46, 48, but you can have many more.
But will all fish have the same amount of numbers?
No,
They'll be different too.
Different. Yeah, just like every animal's different. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Amazing. Stay with us, Lloyd. More to come on Coast to Coast AM. Next hour, we'll take your phone calls with Lloyd Pye, but when we come right back, we'll talk more about his research into the unexplained on Coast to Coast AM. Lloyd, why is it so important for us to determine where we came from, who we are?
You know, I don't think we can chart a path, an accurate path into the future, till we know where we've come from, what we are, what our purpose is, why we're here, who put us here, all of that. How can we begin? We're just like wandering around, like, as Amy says, headless chooks, which is a headless chicken here. You know, we're just wandering, and the results. Just look around us at what we're doing to the planet and everything. We don't have a purpose, a direction. We haven't charted a star to follow, and until we do that, till we know where we've come from, what we're about, why we're here, we just can't move forward efficiently and effectively. And I think it's important for those things to be cleared up once and for all. I mean, what do you put 10 years into something like the Starchild Skull for, if you don't really have a passionate belief that you're serving, you know, the better good of everyone by it? It's a hard thing to do. I mean, it's a really hard thing to do. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe that it was very important for us to chart that accurate course into the future. I won't see it. You probably won't see it. But if we don't make those kinds of decisions, if we don't figure it out and start at least tacking in the right direction, who knows where it's all going to end? I think it's going to end badly.
It very well could be. What do you think of Zecharia Sitchin's theories about the Sumerians?
I follow his theories very closely, and I believe that there is a lot to it. He may not be right in every detail. I say that all the time because he's just one guy doing an enormous amount of research, but I think he's closer to the reality of what happened in the past than any mainstream scientist working today. Whatever they're putting out, that's all garbage. I think Sitchin is